the very previous round of the debates last year, where she was a judge on the I believe that was the southern quarterfinals of the debates. So she's here to talk about building debating skills, seeing that the next segment of this program that we are getting into is where we're going to be choosing our tracks, whether we want to be on the debates track or we want to be on the change projects track. So she's going to be talking about it. And here's the thing, you don't, it's not just, this session is not just for the people who want to be on the debates, right? This session is for everyone. It's for you as well who would like to have a change project done, because you need to persuade people. You need to tap into your persuasion skills. And this session is one that would help you explore what it means to have persuasion skills. Please, if you're having any challenges with understanding the sign language interpreting, please let us know. But in the meantime, you can also use the caption option on Zoom. We are having a bit of a challenge with our internet, and we apologize. So without further ado, this is 305. I would like to introduce you all to Miss Chioma Obiajuru. Miss Chioma Obiajuru will be our facilitator for today, and she's going to be facilitating on the session titled Building Debating Skills. So please, can I see a round of applause for Miss Chioma in the chat? Please, if there are no rounds of applause, I'm not going to start the session. Okay, I'm beginning to see a round of applause. Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So you're going to stop seeing my face on the screen because I'm not your facilitator for today. And I will be handing over to Ms. Choma. Thank you so much, Ms. Choma, for giving us your time. Over to you.
All right. Good afternoon, Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, good afternoon, Emma. It's nice to nice with you. I love that warm welcome. Thank you so very much. So I'm actually very pleased to be here with us, and I would like to share my story. Can somebody hear me?
Please, would you like to adjust, maybe not use the earpiece this time because your voice is a bit low. Yeah, you can speak directly to your device. It's probably better. Are you able to hear me?
Okay. Am I audible? Is it better now?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay, very well. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? Hajara, Ibrahim, Rita, thank you so much. It's better. Okay, okay. So, Miss Ijoma, thank you very much for having me. Like, this is a huge privilege I don't take for granted. As she said earlier, my name is Chema Obiajero, a law graduate from the Faculty of Law, University of Benin, and it is actually a huge privilege to be here. Yes, so I'll be talking about the topic, building debating skills. And I'm trying to share my story. Just give me a few minutes. But before I share my story, I want to ask, how many of you have engaged in a formal debate? If you've done that, can you kindly signify in the chat box? Let me see. If you've engaged in a formal debate, Goldstein or True Call. Let's quickly do that as I share my story. Nobody? No, no, no. I expect to see lots of persons. Gladys said yes. Ubaha said I've engaged in one, but that was in my secondary school days. Interesting, interesting. Oh, Grace has. Samson wants. That would be no. All right. All right. That means you are in the right place because we'll be talking a lot. This will not just be limited or restricted to those that have engaged and those that have not engaged. So I would like you all to be here. So very quickly, when we talk about building debating skill, I actually think it is important for us to understand what debating is all about. Because from my point of view, from my experiences and observation, particularly among students, I realize that when it comes to debating, some people just see debating as arguments. So they just believe that debating is all about arguments. Especially law students are so good at that. So they see us as people that are so good at arguments. You just come, one topic comes up, you start arguing, whether you are called or whether you're not called, you just start arguing. So we are quickly going to talk about that. What is a debate? So can somebody do me a favor by just kindly typing a line or two of what he or she understands about debates? I actually need to see lots of persons telling me something about debate. I want to quickly share my screen. Okay, no worries. I've seen Haruna, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Abu Bakr said it's like I'm facing issues with sign language interpret. Oh, please just concentrate. Okay, Haruna said that debating is an intellectual discussion where one supports or against a particular topic with his point. Then Rhoda said that debate is when you support or against topic with evidence to support the point. Then Grace said debating is an art of constructively persuading others. Wow, a lot of beautiful definition of what debate is. Okay, I can see a lot. Okay, Amia, I'm sorry if I failed to pronounce your name correctly. Amia said that debate is an art of convincing the audience your about your perspective or opinion. Beautiful, beautiful. You have all done well with regards to what a debate is because we all see in parts and we define in parts. So let me quickly tell us a little about debating. Unfortunately, I'm unable to share my screen now. I'm just having a little difficulty to share the screen, but I'll do it to drop it with two people. Immediately I'm done. So here, I noted down here that a debate is simply a structured argument where participants discuss opposing viewpoints. So in the first place, it must be a structured argument. And there must be people that are there to talk about or discuss the opposing viewpoints. That is to say that more often than not, a debate always have a topic. So there is always a topic to be discussed. And it is not just one point of view. There must be opposing points of view. You listen to this party, you listen to the other party. You don't just speak. It is not only about talking. It is not only about arguing. There must be a standpoint. There must be a point of view that you are talking about, and you must be able to do justice to your point of view, not just to your point of view, but to the point of view of another person. And what then is the purpose of debating? It's very simple. The purpose of debating, one is to persuade, another is to inform, and the last one that I noted down here in this slide is to critically analyze ideas. So for those that have engaged in formal debating, I must say that debating does not only end there. In leadership, you must engage in debating. In your classroom, debating. In boardrooms, you must engage in debating. And I must even say that most of you in your homes, you engage in debating. Take it for instance now that your mom wants to share food or your mom wants to do something, and particularly, let me use food now. And she'll be like, okay, I'm giving this food to the last born. Okay, critically analyze what please. If you can hear me, let me know. Can you hear me? Is anyone having difficulty in hearing me? If you can hear me, let me know that in the chat box so that I can continue. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Samson, that you can hear me loud and clear. So as I was saying, an issue comes up at home and you want them to side you, or take it for instance that you want your mom to give you a better portion of the meal. You are not just going to say, Mom, I need a better portion of the meal. You must actually say something to convince your mom. And at that point in time, do you know what you're doing? You are debating, even if it's an informal aspect of debating. So you are, even as a leader in your class, in your different profession, in the courses you are studying, there are instances that you will engage in debating in order for you to pass idea. So as I said, that debate is simply a structured argument where participants discuss opposing viewpoints. And the main aim of debating is one, to persuade, to inform, and to critically analyze. You don't just persuade. Like I see so many persons during my experience as a judge in my faculty then, I was a senior judge of the SDRA courts in my faculty. I just see some people that come to court simply to persuade. And I'll be like, your arguments are good, but it doesn't hold water because they have failed to do something pertinent, and that is to inform, and apart from informing, to critically analyze their idea in a way that their evidence will be admissible before the courts. So you should disembark your mind from the aspect that debate is all about persuading or winning an argument. You must make sure that you have been able to inform. And apart from informing, for you to be able to inform, you must be able to analyze your idea. And that is where analytical reasoning and critical reasoning comes in. Are we following? So what are the real applications of debating? I remember that I made mention of some real application of debating, like your home, your class, boardrooms, and the rest. We also have courtrooms. In courts, they call it moot and mock, court processes, and the rest. So in courtroom, basically what lawyers do is that they debate, because you must definitely give your point, say something in a way to convince the court to rule in favor of your client. So what you are doing there, apart from the fact that you are trying to persuade the judge, you are also trying to inform, taking for instance now that it is a mother child or one child or the other, you are trying to inform the court on the position of the law. It is not to say that the judge does not know the law, because judges know the law. That is a presumption in law. But you are also trying to inform the audience that are in court about the position of the law. And for you to do that, like I said earlier, you must be able to critically, emphasis on critically analyzing your idea. So the real world application of debate, you find them in courtrooms, you find them in boardrooms. And apart from that, you find them in public speaking. Even in public speaking, despite the fact that it is a one-man thing, you are the one standing and you are the one speaking to the audience, and the audience are listening to you. At that point, you don't have rebuttal or the rest. But at that point in time, you will need the skill of debating in order to convince your audience. And apart from convincing them, you need the skill of debating in order to inform them properly. Are we following? So, like I said, in courtrooms, boardrooms, public speaking, and even in leadership. I understand that most of you, despite the fact that you are students, you've engaged in one leadership position or the other, you will realize that there are instances whereby there is a resolution, or taking for instance that a resolution ought to be made in the meeting for the success of the administration, and you have an idea. Others are bringing up idea, and you have an idea, and you want your idea to fly. What are you going to do for your idea to fly? You must be able to do what? Persuade. You must be able to inform them. You must be able to critically analyze your idea in a way that the other members of the board, they will listen to you. The other members in that group, they'll be able to listen to you and buy into your idea. Personally, I have used this skill in many ways, and it has worked for me. In various leadership positions I've occupied, I use it a lot. And people may not even know how they are able to buy your idea. Some of them may come with the opinion that this, my idea is it, this is what we are doing. But after listening to you, they will see every reason to buy into your idea. Why? You were able to effectively use the tool of debating. So that is that for the introduction to debating. Let's quickly go to the next point, and that is why debating skill. Why do you need to improve your debating skill? Why do you need to work on it? Why do you need it as a student? Yes, Hobson Bethel from University of Maiduguri, Borno State. You are welcome. So why do you need debating skill? I want to hear from you and I want to hear from the participants. So tell me, why do you need it? because during the course of our discussion, I'm going to give us topics for us to discuss. I'm going to give us a statement for us to talk about whether or, for or against, so that I will see your debating skill and how you are able to effectively analyze the case to defend your project. Oh my God, that is good. That is good. That is not off point. Okay, to persuade a group of people. Wow, Oluwato saying that is good. That is good. I need more response, please. I need more response. Debating skill helps to make critical and constructive thinking, to persuade and also sell my idea. Beautiful. But let's now bring it to the primary aspect. You, why do you need it? I love the fact that the first person talked, okay, to be able to convince your audience. Good. You have all said well. You have said good, good. Abba said to bring changes. Beautiful. I love your statement, your point of view, and you have not said the wrong thing. So everything each and every one of you have said, you are very correct for better understanding. So I just give 3 points, 3 reasons why you need debating skill. And they are not limited to these very reasons. One is strengthens critical thinking. Debating skill strengthens your critical thinking as an individual. No man is an island. Some persons may say, okay, I'm a hermit, I'm a recluse, I don't do much with people. There was this man, a philosopher, he said something that he that does not socialize, it is either he is a spirit or he's a god. So you must definitely find yourself in the presence of people, yes, to be able to prove a point. Interesting, I love that, Rebecca. So as long as you find yourself among people, you need to be able to sell your idea. And for you to be able to sell your idea, you must be able to have critical reasoning and ability to sell that idea. So hence the reason why I say that, number one, that the reason for debating skill is to strengthen critical thinking. You know, there are instances whereby you'll be called to speak and your audience differs. The way I may be speaking here will not be the same if I'm to speak in the presence of commissioners, governors, presidents, because at that point in time, my audience have changed. Or take it, for instance, I'm to speak to secondary school students. My reasoning, what I'll say will definitely change. And for me to be able to convince these people, I must be able to be somebody that has critical thinking and ability to analyze ideas, particularly when the assembly I find myself, where the audience has a kind of formal understanding. So debating strengthens critical thinking. It's no longer be a straight jacket thing, because there are actually some persons that their thinking is just so straight jacket. They think in one direction. They don't think in the other aspects. So that is what debating does to you, because you are not only thinking in this particular direction, you are also thinking in another direction. That is why you hear some lawyers or some good debaters, they will use some words like a word like assuming but not considering. That is a very beautiful line, because you have been able to consider your own parts and you have been able to consider the opposing party's parts. And for you to be able to do this, you can then sell your idea to the audience listening to you. So debating, in order not for me to overflow this matter, debating strengthens critical thinking. You think outside the box. You think beyond. Are we following? If you're following, I need reaction. I really need to see reaction to make sure that I'm not talking to myself. Okay, something said, we wouldn't have, okay, you think beyond the box. Beautiful. So thank you so much. You're following. I love these participants. You're doing great. So secondly, it builds public speaking and communication. Debating is very important. Like I said, it builds public speaking. There are actually instances whereby you will not have oppositions, somebody coming up to oppose you, or I'm here to defend the motion, this and that. But if you are able to create your idea and be able to marshal out your point through the instrumentality of debating, you will be good at public speaking and communication. See, debating is not only restricted to formal setting. There are actually instances that you are talking with your friend, and it gets to a point that you need to convince that your friend to buy your idea, what are you going to do? You're going to make use of the instrumentality of debating. So at that point in time, you are improving your communication. Let me paint another scenario that you and I can um, can quickly relate to, and that is asking or answering question in class. Do you know that answering or asking question in class is another mechanism of building your communication? It is another instrument of building or boosting your public speaking. Because in that point in time, take it for instance now that you are answering a question, you are actually going to use the instrumentality of debate. You are actually going to exercise debating skill. Because at that point in time, you are answering a question, you are selling your idea to them, and you want them to believe that what you've said is the correct point. So at that point in time, you are building your public speaking. People are now listening to you, and you are enhancing your communication. Even people that are in church, people that are leaders in leadership board. So with the mechanism of debating, you'll be able to build your public speaking. If you see somebody that is good at debating, public speaking is not an issue because you already know your audience. You already know not just what to say, but how to say it. So very quickly, the third point that I noted down here is that debating enhances research and organization. I believe you remember during the course of my presentation earlier that I said that debating is not just about arguing. You are just arguing whether you are called or whether you are not called. You saw a friend, the next thing, Chelsea scored the goal. There are instances that you will engage in formal debates. Are we still following? You will engage in formal debates. And this formal debate, we need you to research. It will need you to research, and not just to research to have idea. It will need you to do what they call organization, ability to organize your work, ability to make sure that your work follows a logical sequence. And that is what debate does. Because if you stand up, if you engage in a formal debate, you stand up to talk, you realize that you're not just going to talk at random. Because the judges listening to you, they are intellectuals. They know what they are doing. And they already have a marking scheme, how they are going to grade you. And one of the ways that they are going to grade you is organization, the logicality. So debating helps you in enhancing research. Take it for instance, I had to research on a particular topic I was writing for a client, and I had to work on that topic because it is, I would engage in the instrumentality of debating. So I cannot just come and start talking even before this presentation. I had to do my research and make sure that my works are organized. So debating helps you in your research, that it will not be that you are just speaking from a mere man understanding. No, you are speaking and you are backing up what you are saying with points. You are backing them up with evidence, substantial evidence to back up your point. So it helps in research, it helps in organization. Then very lastly here, why debating skill is it builds confidence for leadership role. Who can remember the last thing that I said, the last point I made mention of before this last one that I said? Who can remind me of that? Okay, I actually expect a lot of persons telling me the last point I made mention of. Enhances research. Amos, I love this. That is so great. I love the fact that you are really following. Enhances, good, 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 good. I love that. So the last point here is it builds confidence for leadership roles. Because this debating, if you are good at debating, you have this confidence. When people are talking, you listen. Because before you say something, you gather the fact that when you speak, people listen. If you are a leader, people listen because you are speaking from a giant point of view. You are speaking from a point that is analytical, a point that is reasonable, beyond reasonable doubt. Like some persons say it in court, that this is, you must prove beyond reasonable doubt. So debating, when you have this skill, when you are able to build this skill of debating, it builds your confidence as a leader. Taking for instance that you have a project and you need your expert to work on it, and various persons are bringing in their idea, let's do it like this, let's do it like that. You are listening to them. But at the end, you make your verdict. And your ability to intellectually marshal out your ideas with convincing facts gives you confidence that your followers listen to you. So debating, apart from the fact that it is used in formal setting, it is used almost like it cuts across different facets of our lives as individuals. So don't be afraid if you're not a debater, if you don't go for competitions like national competitions, interfaculty competitions, international competition, don't say, debating is not for me. So you can actually use it in these facets. All right, so I believe I've done justice to why build debating skill. We have now seen 4 points. Although these are not limited to these 4 points, we have now seen these 4 points why you have to build your debating skill. So very quickly, the core elements of a good debate. And I believe that we are all writing. How many of us are interested in knowing the core elements of a good debate? If you're interested, let me see your reactions. Let me see your messages so that I can cook this meal very well and present it to you. Good. Ezekiel said that he is interested. Okay, very good. So I actually structured 4 core elements of a good debate. Had it been you could see my slide, you would have seen how I structured it. And one is the argument. The second is a structure, the third is a style, and the last is a strategy. So I'm going to expatiate on the argument. So if you must be a good debater, understand the fact that there must be an argument because every debate must have an issue, a statement of facts. Every debate has a statement of facts. For those that are in law, for those that are doing policy and the rest, there must always be a topic. And in that topic, it must be constructive. So in that argument, the argument contains clear points and strong evidence. Clear points and strong evidence. So if you must have a good debate, you must have an argument. And in this argument, you must have your point. Taking for instance now that you are debating on a topic, should AI be regulated more strictly? That is a topic. That is an issue. So it will not be, if you're not going to restructure it into, pardon me, if you're not going to restructure it, you are now going to ask the question whether or not AI should be regulated more strictly. So now it has now become a debating topic in quotes. So now we have our debating topic, our statement of fact. So the next thing is for you to have clear points that you are not just going to stand and say, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, this, that, that. No, you must have points. You must have not just points, clear points, concise points. You know, some people are so good at these verbose vocabulary. They use words. If you are talking and the people you are talking to, they are not following, that is not communication. The purpose of communication has not been established. So you must have clear points, convincing ones, and you must have strong evidence, empirical analysis, empirical proof. You must have clear points and what? And strong arguments. Can somebody reiterate what I said? That has to do with argument, from the ambit of argument. We have clear points and strong arguments. Correct. So the next one is the structure. Don't forget that I said that I have 4 core elements of a good debate. And I just finished talking about the argument, that your argument must entail clear points and what? I need to see somebody saying something. Clear points and what? Okay, and strong argument, Gideon, I love that. And strong argument, beautiful. So now we are now going to the structure. How is the structure of your debate? Patience, thank you very much. The structure of your debate. You don't just stand up and start debating. No. A debate should have, a good debate, not just a debate. A good debate must have a structure. And the structure of this debate, it must be a logical flow from start to finish. You don't just stand up and start talking. You don't just stand up and start shouting. I have been a judge for 3 academic sessions. And I see that some persons, they just come to courts and what they do is they are aggressive, and those gesticulation, my lord, my lord, my So some of them, they can talk for a very long period of time, but they are unable to have a logical flow. What they're saying, does not follow a logical sequence. So in the structure of your argument, it must have logical flow from start.
Oh, hi. I think Miss Choma might have some challenges at internet. So please, can we give her a few minutes? I'm sure she'll be back shortly. Thank you so much, Gideon, for pointing that out. All right, before she returns, does anyone want to give a summary of the presentation so far in the chat? Thank you, Gamba, Ezra. I've seen you talk about a good debate must have structure. That's one key takeaway. All right, thank you. I think Miss Choma is back as well. So while we're doing the summaries in the chat, I think I'll give the floor back to Miss Choma. But Miss Choma, Ezra remembered that you were speaking. Good debates must have a good structure. So over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ijoma. So pardon for the network glitch. A good debate, like I said, it must have logical flow from start to finish. Let me not overflog the matter. A logical flow from start to finish. It shouldn't be that you started strong, but at the concluding part, you are nowhere to be found. I've sat for several debating competitions that when they start, you say, wow, 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 this person is doing so great with evidence, and they are doing so well. But at the concluding aspect of their arguments, they are nowhere to be found. That even what they are saying can be grouped under the fallacy of non sequitur. It does not follow. So let me not overflow this matter again. So let's quickly go to the start. I believe we understand this structural aspects, that the structure of a good debate must be what? Can somebody help us with that? The structure of a good debate must what? I need to see that in the chat box. Because like I said, I will give us a debate topic and you're going to talk about it. So let me see us. Must have logical flow. Beautiful, Rita. Thank you very much. So the third core element is style. Is a style. A debate has a style. Because it is this style that will differentiate you as a speaker. It is a style that will differentiate you, that when you start speaking, people will listen. Happen to be in a conference or in a sitting whereby when some of them were talking, you saw people talking or distracting or making noise. But somebody came in after talking for a while, there is tranquility. People are listening. People are just listening. That is style. So what then is a style of a good debate? It's very simple. A good debate must be persuasive. It must constitute persuasive speaking. Good, Obaha, Gideon. I love the fact that you've experienced that. So I'm not alone in this journey. So the style of a good debate is that it must be very persuasive. And for you to be able to persuade your audience, there are other sub-styles that you would use. So apart from the fact that it must be persuasive, there must be a good body language. Even as I'm talking, I'm not just, there must be a good body language. And you're just looking at my mouth and you are listening because there are other body languages that I am embellishing in my conversation, in my presentation. So that is a style. That is a style. So persuasion is there, persuasive communication is there, body language is there. So when I did my research, I realized that according to research in communication and psychology, particularly the Albert Marabian's communication, I realized that 7% of communication is verbal. That is the actual thing you speak. That is just 7%. Then 38% is vocal. And this vocal constitutes your tone, your pitch, and your inflection. Then lastly, 58% is non-verbal. 58%, a huge percentage of 58 is non-verbal. And this includes what? The facial expression, your gestures, and your posture, etc. So part of the style is your body language. Your body language. And in another slide, we're going to talk about this body language and how to engage your audience. So the last core element that I noted down here is strategy. So how is the strategy you use in your debating? And the strategy that you're going to use here is for you to anticipate. Okay, Mark, can someone brush over these figures, please? Okay, all right. So the strategy that you're going to use in order to be tagged a good debater is your ability to anticipate and counter opponent points. And this is what is regarded as rebuttal. Are we still following? So the strategy you use is what? Is your ability to anticipate and counter your opponent's points. I believe many of you have been in debating platforms. For those that have engaged in formal debating, you realize that after the first debating, the opponent comes in to give his or her point, or to water down what you've said, or to just say something that will make all your arguments to be thrown into the waste basket, intellectual waste basket. However, at the end, they will definitely come back for a rebuttal. And that is your ability to anticipate and counter opponent's points. So when you are done giving your first argument, you are now coming back, your first presentation, you are now coming back to rebut, to counter what your opponent has said. And for you to be able to counter, you must be able to anticipate so that you can plan ahead. But there are instances in most formal debates, you don't even have time to go back to research. So you must be able to think on your feet within seconds, within minutes. You must be able to think on your feet so that you can anticipate the opponent's arguments, the opponent's point, and be able to counter their argument. So these are the 4 core elements of a good debate. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Vivian is with me. I love that. These are the 4 core elements of a good debate. So who can type it there, the 4 core elements of a good debate that I have examined before I go to my next slide? The 4 core elements. Let's go there. I actually needed to see lots of messages concerning the 4 core elements of a good debate that I talked about. Argument, Ezekiel, that is beautiful. Ezekiel Esther, yes, argument. Structure and style. Argument, structure, style, strategy. So be patient. That is wonderful. Grace, you are doing well. You are doing absolutely well. So very quickly, let's now go to how to build debating skill. Ebenezer, thank you very much. So how do we build a debating skill? How do we do it? Very simple. So I noted down 5 points here that you can use to, okay, I can barely follow properly. The network here is terrible. Oh, so sorry about that, Agatha. So sorry about that. The network is kind of having glitches. So let's just quickly go to how to build. Like I said, I noted down 5 points, 5 structure points. And number 1 is research deeply on topics. Research deeply on topics. If you must be a good debater, if you must be able to enhance the quality of your debates, research is paramount. Research is very, very paramount. And it is not just any kind of research, it is deep research. Because it is in this research that you have a deep understanding of the topic. You need to have a deep understanding of a topic before you can talk, before you can be able to convince. Because if you don't convince yourself, you find it difficult, if not impossible, to convince another person. And for you to be able to do that, you must do substantial research for you to have your evidence, because it is your research that bets evidence. Without you doing research, you can't have evidence, particularly when it pertains to a topic you are not that abreast with. So you must make sure that you research on that topic, on the debate topic. Let me now give us a particular debate topic. Look at this debate topic. Everybody listen. After enumerating these 5 debating skills, I want us to take sides for or against before I switch to the next one. So this topic is this. Is social media doing more harm than good? Is social media doing more harm than good? Somebody should just give us a line. If you are for, just write it, I am for. And you give us just 1 point. Because I believe that this particular topic does not need thorough research. Like, as at this particular point now, you don't need to do a deep research in order for you to give me a point, a convincing point. So is social media doing more harm than good? I need somebody for, I need somebody for against. Let's have that in mind. I'll come back to check our messages as I complete this how to build a debating skill. I'm not. Okay, you are for. Good. Taiwo is for. Good. Who else? I love your confidence, Taiwo. You quickly gave your point. Zion against. Oh, I am against. Samson against. All right. So in the next 1 minute, we are going to see that it has done. Oh, Mika. Good, good. I love this. People are really interesting. You are so interested. You are so enthusiastic about this very topic. Okay, the effect depends on the user. All right, I will read through, but let's go on. So research deeply. The reason why I give that topic is for you to understand that there are instances, depending on the state you are in, whereby you'll be asked to give your opinion as regards a particular topic. At that point, there are instances that you will not be given the medium to do substantial research. And what will save you is if you already have idea into that topic. And even if you have one idea, your critical analysis will now give more bonus to you, your ability to critically think on the spot. So if you're not talking about formal debate and very serious debates like this, research on the topic is very pertinent, and not just any kind of research, deep research. Deep research. So if I not give, if I am to read what you have written, you realize that most of you just gave me head knowledge. And trust me, if I'm to give you like 2 days or 3 days to work on this topic, what you are going to give to me will be different from what you are giving me right now. Because of what? The instrumentality of deep research. Because you now have the opportunity to research deeply on that particular topic in order to convince me of your position, whether or not social media is doing more harm than good. You're not going to bring your empirical facts, and you're not just only giving me your empirical facts, you're also doing your empirical analysis. And what I mean by empirical here is your evidence, analyzation of your evidence. And this is backed up from your research. So I hope we now understand this. Then secondly, the second point on how to build your debating skill is to understand both sides of an issue. Okay, is to understand both sides of an issue. With respect to this, I'm going to give us a story, a personal story. So as a law student, I actually engage in several advocacy competitions, intra-faculty, inter-faculty, regional advocacy competitions, and even national competitions. And something important about this competition is that when you are to submit a memorial, we call it memorial. When you are to submit a memorial, you must submit for both sides. That is to say that you are submitting for and against, just like you say for and against. But in our own language, we call it, if it is for a civil case, you are submitting for the applicant and you're also submitting for the defendant. So this now means that you are not only seeing the topic from one point of view, you are seeing it from this point of view. You are seeing it from this other point of view. You are writing from this angle. We are now looking for evidence to back up your claim for this angle. And you're also looking for evidence to back up your claim from this other angle. You are thinking critically in this angle. You are also thinking critically in the other angle. Can you now see what debating is doing? It is opening your mind. So you must be able to understand both sides. And I realized that why this thing is very good is that there are instances whereby on the spot, the judges ask you question, particularly if it is a moot. They ask you very critical question. And sometimes this question is beneficial to the opposing party. But because you already have idea on that aspect, you'll be able to beat up that question. So that is where this skill of understand both sides comes in. That even when a question is coming from here, your opponent is coming from this angle or is coming from that angle, you already know what they want to do because of what you you have done critical analysis of both sides. You have looked into their side. You have already looked into your own side, and you have used their lapses to solidify your point. So if you must build a good debating skill, be able to understand both sides. Your mind must be open to both sides. Then let me quickly run off. The third point here is structured point clearly. Be able to structure your point very clearly. Don't dilly-dally. You are trying to get accolades by giving us lots of grammar. You must understand your audience. There are some audience that they don't understand your grammar. So you must use words that are clear. So your point should be structured, like really structured and convincing. Then the fourth one here is to practice speaking loud. Practice speaking loud. And when I say practice speaking loud, mind you, I did not say shout. I did not say shout. That you are talking audibly is different from you are shouting. There is a way you can calmly communicate. Your voice is loud, but you are not shouting. I see a lot of people during debates or advocacy competition in my court. You see them shouting. I'll be like, Cancer, calm down. Cancer, stop shouting. I can hear you. Just be loud. So you must learn to practice speaking loudly. When you speak loudly, you speak with confidence. Then very lastly on this point is learn respectful and logical rebuttal. Very important. There are some judges that based on their philosophies, they can be prejudicial in that aspect. And there are some debaters that they don't incorporate this skill of respectful and logical rebuttals. There are some persons that their rebuttal is just addressed to the personality of their opponent and not the statement at hand. Like some persons, they just address that opponent, insult that opponent, and in their mind, they have said something. If you are before intelligent judges, you have said absolutely nothing. You have said what? Absolutely nothing. Or you see in election cases whereby the participants, the candidates, it is now time for them to have their debate. You see one insulting another person. No, that is not a good debating skill because there are a lot of persons listening to you. So you should learn respectful and logical rebuttal. Emphasis on respectful and logical, not just respectful, but it must be logical. That any ear listening to what you are saying would be so interested in being convinced. I hope we've gotten the gist of this discussion that pertains to how to build debating skill. If you are following, let me see your reaction, or let me see you write something in the chat box that yes, I am following. Good, Gideon. You are so active. I love that. I love that video. So let's quickly go to our topic. I'm not done yet. So for persons that said that they are for, let me read your chat box. Let me see. Okay. Nathaniel said that social media does more good, particularly for a generation like ours, when the populace say information is power, hold ground. The fact that we can have information at our fingertip is something powerful that social media offer. Additionally, it aids promote and protect our rights to expression among other rights. Beautiful. I believe that Nathaniel is against the point that social media has done more harm than good. I love that. That is logical. It's sequential. Okay, this one is opposing. Abubakar said that social media has done more harm than good in the society. But where is your point? Where is your point? There is no evidence. Okay, so Watson said that social media enabled the spread of misinformation and political polarization, therefore more harm. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. Okay, why the very last one I'm reading here says that it has done more harm than good. One of the biggest reasons for that is because it has given us platform to have intellectual discussions, including this one. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I love your engagement. Yeah, good engagement. However, when you listen to some of them that I was reading, you realize that some were not backed up with verifiable evidence. There was no evidence. They cannot just stand up and say something. If you must say something, where are your evidence? Where are your facts? Not just facts, substantial facts that you are using to defend your motion. So generally, I love the fact that you were able to think on your ground. Think on your feet. That is so beautiful. Samson, you are for against. All right. Let's quickly run up because our time is running. Oluwa, I'm sorry, I'm not Yoruba, but you have a very nice name. Quickly. So let's go to common debate formats. There are different debate formats. And I'll not stay too long on this. We have the British parliamentary debate. In this particular debate, we have four teams and two sides. Two in a team and two in another team. So that debating format is for the British parliamentary debate. We have the Lincoln Douglas debating format, and it is one-on-one. And this one is based on, it is value-based debate. Then we have the public forum. In this public forum, we have teams of two, and the topics are basically current trend, just like the topic we talked about here, which has to do with social media. So if we are to use the public forum, I can create teams of two persons, Samson and the rest in one team, Abubakar and another in another team to discuss current topic. So that's debating format is regarded as public forum. Then very lastly, we have policy debates. So what does this policy debate, what does it inculcate? The policy debate is actually a team of two focuses on policy change. Policy change. Take it for instance, there was a topic I brought out here that demands policy change. Okay, should government have access to private digital data in the name of national security? So that is a kind of interesting topic to regulate or to talk about a particular policy, whether or not this policy should be changed. Or you can actually talk about how many of us have seen this case of this famous worshiper singer whose husband has been sentenced to death. So somebody may just bring up topic that um, a particular topic on this death sentence, that death sentence is a violation of rights to life provided in section 32 of the Constitution. So we can have a policy debate that this thing, good, Gideon, I love that. Good, I love that. So people can come up, a debate can come up with respect to death sentences in order for the government to set down that policy. So these are the common debate formats. I hope this is clear for us. Osinachi, good. Samson, I love that. So these, like I said, are the common debate format. Very quickly before our time runs up completely, the key techniques for effective debating. What are the key techniques? Everything has techniques. Even as a student, you must have techniques in passing an examination and answering a question. So I was able to note down 4 techniques. And the first technique here is a 3-point method. I'll send you my slide so that you can read substantially. So the 3-point technique method. And what does this mean? It means you have the point, you explain, and you give example. Yes, definitely, you will get the slide. I will send it over to the host so that they can send it to you, you read, and it can also guide your research. So this 3-point technique incorporates, you have a point, you explain your point, and you give example. Can you not see that it is 3? There was a debate I sat for. I was the presiding judge in that debate. It was for 100 level students. I was wowed. There was a particular student that stood out for me. This this young student was so good. He was able to marshal at his point, think critically, logically, analytically. He was able to, he will give a point, he explain it, he is explaining with facts, with evidence, with everything. Said he's done, no, okay. He's explaining with evidence and a lot of things. And apart from that, he will give example. So you can use this 3-point method in your debate. You give your first point, you explain it, then you give an example. So with this now, it will carry your audience along. And examples does a lot. But when you are using example, it is really important for you to utilize that principle of avoiding non sequitur. That is using examples that does not follow. So use examples that are in tandem with what you said. So that is where logicality comes in. So another technique is signposting. How many of us know what signposting means? If you know signposting, if you know what signposting means, could you clearly tell us in the chat box? In the chat box, signposting. Because signposting is the next technique you can use. Who is helping us out? Nobody? Why? Why is there nobody to talk about signposting? Okay. Gesture? Oh, not really. Not really. Okay, that would be a good assignment. I love giving assignments because assignments will help you to research more. Have you used the word like you are talking? You're saying, firstly, your body language. Let me use this. For the topic we've raised now, is social media doing more harm than good? My name is Chema Obiajiro, and I'm here to support the motion audibly that social media has done more harm than good. And I will convince this honorable court with the following points of mine. Firstly, social media, I'll not say all this. Then later on, I'll use secondly. Like, do you know those words you use? Moreover, furthermore, however, these are signposting. This gives your work, like instead of you like using one point, oh, I'm so sorry, Dan Baba. I'm so sorry about that. So instead of you like using one particular point, you are over explaining a particular point. With your signposting, you will remind your audience that I am following a structure. The first thing that I said was just one point. Secondly, this is my second point. Thirdly, this is my third point. Or furthermore, meaning I'm about to give another point. So this signposting makes your debating structured, and it gives your debating a sequential flow, a sequential arrangement, that when you are talking, it no longer be that you are beating around the bush. It means that you have a sequence. Thank you. I love this. I love this video. Also do a research to understand more about signposting. So signposting now gives your debate a structure. There are some persons I will listen and I'll be like, where is this person? Like, what are you saying? Haven't you listened to somebody and you've been wondering what this person is talking about? The person has been talking for a long time, but you don't understand what the person is talking about. So to cure that deficit, that dysfunction, you can use this mechanism of signposting. So another technique is POINT, POS, point of emphasis. You can use your POS. So you make and handle interjection smartly. You handle your interjection. So you can use this POS in order for you to handle POIs, in order for you to handle your interjection quickly. Then very lastly, the key technique is time management. Stay within your time. I've actually witnessed debating whereby one of the debaters overshoot the time, like used up the time that there was no time for the other debater to say something. Know that you are not just talking. This your talking is limited to a particular time slot. Good time management is very important. Okay, I'll tell you my experience when I was in 200 level. In 200 level, I went for a regional competition that was hosted by the River State. It was a moot and more competition. And we were 3 students that represented the University of Benin. Our first speaker, the first counsel, who was our lead counsel, he used the time of the second counsel and also used my time. Why? He was over explaining. He had a lot in his memorial. Like there were a lot of things to say because the case was on murder, and several other things. So she forgot the fact that we are limited to time. A time has been given to us. And what to say alone won't be enough to grade the team. Every other person had to say something. He overshot the time that when it was not time for me to speak, I had to rush. I was very fast. And I was still young into this world of debating, into this world of advocacy competition, that I forgot that you can actually say something within a particular little time you have and still be able to convince your audience. So I was just rushing. Oh, I need to say everything. This person has used up my, and I was not able to convince the judges very well the way I prepared to do. So know that you are not just speaking on the frolic of your own. Time management, particularly if you have a team, so that some will not be angry with you. I tell you, I was really angry with the man. I was angry with my colleague. Like, why did you do that? Why? So time management is a good technique. And how can you manage time? You learn, you practice, you time yourself, you record yourself. You make sure that you are working within a particular time frame. You practice over and over and over again. Because in some judges have the marking scheme, and there is actually a slot for time management, the ability of a team to properly use their time. Correct. Okay, so I have now discussed the key techniques for effective debating. I am actually going to talk about the common mistakes to avoid when you are debating. And this one is very important. And after talking about these common mistakes to avoid, I would like to chip in something. Though this thing is not in my slide, I will incorporate it before sending it in. So what are the common mistakes that you as a debater should avoid? Whether you are doing formal debating, informal debating, or you are a leader. So these are the common mistakes to avoid. Make sure you write them down. In fact, I need to see people writing it and typing it on the chat box so that I will know that you are following. Are we following? I need to receive reaction to know that the participants in here, they are really following. Okay, good. Thank you very much, Samson. So we have speaking too fast or too slow. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Watson. Thank you. Speaking too fast or too slow. So I remember telling us my story that when I realized that the time was against me, let me use that word, the time was no longer on my side. I was speaking too fast. I was fast. My Lord, my Lord, my Lord, in the case of this, in the case of that. I was so fast. I was so fast. So it is a common mistake, like I said, it is a common mistake. Avoid speaking too fast and avoid speaking too slow. Do you know that there are actually some persons that they'll be talking and you will be like, do you know that this is a competition? You are not in your father's house. There was a cancer that appeared before me, and the way the young man was arguing, I was like, did you know that this is a competition? It was the vocal. The young man was so slow that it was like what he was saying was lullaby. Like they were like music to the ear. So avoid speaking too fast, avoid speaking too slow, be moderate so that you'll be able to inform and also persuade your audience. So that is one mistake to avoid in building your debating skill. Then secondly, being aggressive and not assertive. I think I've talked about this. You see someone, my Lord. Let me not use the my Lord scenario. Let me use what you and I we are familiar with. Like they will say, Mr. Mr. Chairman, sir, accurate. They are so aggressive. Their gesticulation alone is very aggressive. So you should don't be aggressive. For me, when I was a judge, a senior judge in my court, in the faculty, I will tell you, calm down, talk to us, convince us. Don't be carried away with the enthusiasm of your argument and forget rationality with the wind. You must be able to, you are assertive. Do you know that you can be assertive, but you are not aggressive? You can be calm, but you are stating your point very well, audibly, persuasively, and people listening to you, they are nodding their head like this. They're listening. So avoid being aggressive. That is a waste of energy. Avoid being aggressive, but be assertive. Be very assertive with your points, with your words, with everything that you are saying. Be assertive. But don't forget the aspect of being respectful, even if you are assertive. Good, because you are still human. The judges, they are humans. So be assertive, not aggressive. Then the point mistake to avoid is using emotion without evidence. Using avoid sleeping with Scorpio. So using emotion without evidence. There are some persons that are good at using pathos. Pathos as a fallacy. They can say something, particularly, okay, I'm a law student, so let me not say law student, I'm a law graduate. So basically, most of my advocacy, law and others, and I've read a lot of law reports. And you see some persons, there are some debate topic that they are talking about. They'll be so emotional. Like there was a debate, I was, yes, like crying. I was presiding. I was presiding over the debate. And this debater was so like the debater was crying, like cried. Yes, the topic was particularly on abortion. So the debater was like trying. Imagine the young baby in the womb does not know anything, and the young baby is just thinking about how to come to the world and be impactful, and behold, he's aborted. I was like, good. I love it for that you are using your emotion, but where is your evidence? So do you get? You must, though you can appeal to people's emotion. However, support it with evidence that makes your debate more persuasive. I hope you're following. So very quickly, let's see the last mistake to avoid, a common mistake, and that is ignoring opponent's arguments. Yes, it's really funny, Gideon, very funny. But as a judge, you don't laugh. You just have your very strong face that you are listening to everybody. But in your mind, you be like, okay, so avoid opponents. There are some debaters that are so good at avoiding opponent arguments. They are just on the frolic of their own. They are just minding their business, arguing. Even when the opponent raises a point that can be countered, they will just avoid it. That is a mistake. It is a mistake that every good debater, beautiful Rita, thank you very much, that every good debater you must avoid. Don't ignore opponent argument. Rather, note them down so that you can use them as a rebuttal. If you notice, I'm speaking more from the perspective of a judge that has sat over several competitions, advocacy and debate competition. And I'm also speaking from experience as a debater and also an advocate in court. So don't, because there are always points for rebuttal. Every debate competition that I sit for, there are always points for rebuttal. So that rebuttal, what are you going to rebut? Your opponent's arguments. So if you had avoided your opponent's argument, you have nothing to rebut. So note them down. So debating is not only about talking. There must always be a place of listening. And I'll talk about that very shortly. So these are 4 mistakes, common mistakes that you must avoid as a good debater. Thank you very much, Rita. It shows you are really, really following. Then very quickly, I want to talk about this developing critical skill for debating. You can remember that almost what I've said. I've talked about critical reasoning, critical thinking, analytical reasoning. You must be able to gather all these things together. So how then can you develop critical skill for debating? And I believe I have explained this. Number 1 is research skill. You must develop research skill, be able to research properly. Then secondly, analytical skill, ability to analyze something. You are very welcome, Kende. Ability to analyze facts, break it down into syllables, break it down into little substance that can be consumed easily. Then thirdly, organization and structuring, ability to structure your points. Just like I'm speaking from points and points and points, making sure that they are digestible, intellectually digestible. So you must, in developing this critical skill for debating, you must have organizing and structuring skill. Then very lastly, listening. I believe I've talked about it. You listen properly. Sometimes it is vital for you to do less speaking and more listening. Because in listening, you'll be able to decipher the mistakes of your opponent. Because some people are just so, they're so in a hurry to talk. And they may end up saying things that will shoot them on the feet. But if you are a good listener, you'll be able to gather all these things together. You gather all of them together and you can use it against them. And you can use it to marshal out your points and also convince your audience properly. Then let me quickly talk about developing. I love that. I love that. Said, you are doing so well. Speaking skill and persuasive technique. Don't forget that we are the central aspect of this session is building your debating skill. So let me now talk about the speaking skill and persuasion technique. I believe I have harped on this, but let me quickly talk about it. Number one is clarity and conciseness. So if you must be able to develop your speaking skill, be clear and concise. Very important. There are some instances that you can use 10 minutes or 5 minutes to say something and your audience is convinced. You are just clear, you go through the point with your evidence. You are concise, not verbose. You are having a lot to say, you are saying a lot, but they are ambiguous. So in order for you to develop your speaking skill, in order for you to develop your persuasion skill, you must be clear. Clarity is paramount. Clarity and conciseness. Then your voice modulation. Your voice modulation is also vital. There are instances that you need to take a pause. You take a pause. Do you know what that pause does? The pause gives your audience ability to digest what you said. They now digest it because you've been talking. If you notice, there are instances that I will just talk and I will say, oh, I need to hear this from you. I need to see what people are doing. It is an opportunity to carry you people along. So as a debater, there are instances you say 1, 2, 3 things. You take a little pause. And the pause I'm talking about is not forever pause. It's not. So you take a little pause. You come again. You take a little pause. You come again. You go again. You are hitting it. You are hitting it. So this help, and you can classify it under voice modulation. Your voice. Take it for instance now. Let me just quickly brief on this voice modulation. We see your house was invaded by armed robbers. Or let me not use as armed robbers. Somebody just walked into your room and said, Aya, give me your money. Give me your money. If you don't give me your money, I will shoot you. If you don't give me your money, I will shoot you. Will you take that person serious? Will you take the person serious? No, talk to me. If you are react, let me know. You don't take the person serious. Because even the voice is not serious. But imagine somebody, thank you, Gideon. Imagine somebody that walks into your room, like, give me your money, give me your money. If you don't give me your money, kind of thing. In fact, psychologically, you have the fear. So the voice modulation now comes in. So I'm not saying that you should just start debating, that kind of, no. You should be assertive, but not aggressive. So voice modulation, you make use of the body language. I am sure that I talked about this body language. There are instances that you have to gesticulate. If you notice, there are instances that I had to raise my hand, I had to like either move my head, I had to like either raise my eyebrow. So it depends on what you're saying. Your body language matters. Like I told us concerning the research I made, according to psychology and the Albert Marabian's theory. So most importantly, your body language is 58% of everything. So body language, but some people overdo it. They're just talking. Like, how is this in those people? They are talking like they are walking faster than usual. And the rest, excuse me, I want to go on for you. Okay, so they are talking faster than usual. So please don't talk faster than usual. Don't gesticulate more than usual. Then your presentation technique and the rest. So that is what you need to understand. Let me quickly talk about practical tips and habits. Good, you've seen it. Good, I love that. What are the practical tips? How can you improve your debating skill? How can you improve your debating skill? Watch professional debaters. Watch professional debates and learn. There was a particular debate that I had to sit for, a particular debate I had to engage in. I had to go online. I had to watch debates. And I was amazed. These are things that will help you to build your debating skill. Take for instance that you have a debating club, you join. Number one is to watch professional debates and learn. Don't just go for fun. Whenever you're going for an event, go with the mindset that I want to learn. Just like you are here, I have about 104 participants. You are here to learn. And I believe that you are taking notes down. You are taking down notes. So watch professional debates and learn. To join a debate club or practice group, because it is from these things you can develop your debate. We even see some persons that are better than you. They are so good. You learn from them. They are all there to hone your debating skill. Then thirdly, record and listen to your speeches. Record. Definitely, I'll drop my LinkedIn profile. So record yourself, listen to your speech. Taking for instance, in every advocacy competition that I'm going for as a counsel or as a debater, I will first of all write everything down. Then there's always a place for memorizing. I record myself. If you see me talking to myself, you'll be like, oh, what is wrong with this person? You are practicing. I will talk, I will memorize, talk and talk and talk over and over. I will play it, I will record, I will listen. When you are listening, you are now listening from the perspective of the audience. Thank you. Practice makes perfection. You listen, record yourself. Sometimes if you listen to yourself, you'll be like, so this is how I'm sounding. No, I didn't know that I was sounding like this. Or you can even see some points you failed to make mention of. So that can also help you. Then fourthly, read widely across different fields. Read a lot, like read, research and read, because there are instances, there are some debates that they'll give you a topic. On that point, they'll give you a topic, very serious debate. And if you don't have idea, you'll be like, you have nothing to talk about. So you must be, if you want to be a good speaker, be a great reader in different fields, not just limited to a particular field, in different fields. Read a lot. This will build your idea, because you must have an idea before you can convince or inform others. I believe you are following. Then very lastly, stay calm and think under pressure. Stay calm your nerves. Nobody will kill you. Calm yourself. Okay, you've been to such debate, it wasn't funny, or it's also exactly. It can be. You just have to like do it quickly. So stay calm. Stay calm. The reason why I'm able to talk about this staying calm, even under pressure, is because I've been in such like every competition will get you nervous. Particularly if you think about the caliber of people you are competing against or you are competing with. However, stay calm. Practice how to stay calm. Practice it. Practice it. So while talking about this, I realized that I have to talk about one thing that most of you ask questions, and that is overcoming common challenges in debating. Overcoming some common challenges in debating. And what are these common challenges? I'll be rounding up very quickly. I'll be rounding up. I'm so sorry for the overuse of the time. So what are these common challenges? One is fear of public speaking. I tell you, definitely I'm rounding off. So fear of public speaking. Some persons will have this phobia for public speaking, but you build it. You should work on your fear. Some persons, the reason why they don't want to engage in debating is because of this fear. I'm not good at public speaking, this, that. No, you build it. Nobody is going to be perfect. Even most of the very good debaters, they are nervous, but they have to find out ways to to break out from that shell of being nervous and anxious. Then the lack confidence. People have this challenge of lacking confidence, particularly when you see the caliber of people you are competing with and several other things, and you calculate the character you have within you, and you feel like you are falling short of it. No, don't. You work on it. You practice daily. Then handling aggressive opponents. There are some opponents that are very aggressive. You work on it. You practice. Then thinking on your feet. These are some of the challenges that people have difficulty with when it comes to debating. And I believe that I have been able to, in fact, overshoot this particular topic, overflog this particular topic. And in conclusion, I want us to have it in mind that debating improves your communication, it improves your leadership, and it improves your confidence. And apart from that, start small. Even if you're not perfect now, you're not that good now, but start small and keep practicing. Practice frequently. And remember, progress, not perfection. Keep practicing. The more you are practicing, you are progressing. Before you know it, you will be very good. So with this, I say thank you very much because I have rounded off my presentation. In case you have one question, two questions, I'll quickly address it before we say goodbye. Thank you so much. Miss Ijoma, thank you. I'm done. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Ezekiel, Esther. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you,
All right.
Mahmoud.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you,
Thank you so
Watson.
much.
Thank you,
Thank you so much,
Rufus.
Choma. I
All right.
would invite you to look in the chat box and also in the Q&A if there are any questions you would like to address directly in the chat box. And this is an opportunity to say, I'm not even going to apologize for this meeting running long because I think that there was incredible value in the session today. So I want to say thank you again to Ms. Choma for being here to lead us on this session. And I want to say thank you to all 104 of you who have stayed out on the call. This is your opportunity to go back and tell your colleagues who are not here that this was a session they shouldn't miss. As is our culture, you can always go back to the YouTube and watch the presentation once again. Oh.
Miss Ijuma. I can see a particular question, Miss Ijuma. Can I quickly address it? Thank you so much, Said. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Choma, carry on. Please
Okay.
carry on.
All right. So, okay, Gideon, thank you. There is this question, okay, from God's time or Chuko. You say that if a Mazis debater gives his logical and empirical evidence and they are factual, but the judges in that debate are liberal scholars and do not believe in the postulations of the Mazis debater, even though they are factually correct, what will play out in the judgment, emotion or rationality? All right, God's time. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But as a debater in the first place, I actually need to understand the angle you are coming from, whether this has to do with in a formal setting or in a political setting or whatever setting. But if you are found in a formal setting, first, don't circumscribe yourself to, oh, the judges are this, the judges are that. Definitely, there are some judges that will be prejudicial based on their wiring, based on their perspective, based on their belief. But in as much as these people would be prejudicial, make sure that you have done justice on your part. You have been able to give everything that is needed. Do you know that there are instances that I can have conviction on a particular thing, on a particular topic, that this is my conviction. But if you are able to use your persuasion skill clearly, you are able to use it clearly to the extent that even if this is my conviction, to some extent, I'll be convinced by what you're saying. Even if the judges are not convinced, audience are listening to you. Haven't you been in that situation whereby the judges in court concerning a particular case, they held otherwise, but the masses, they are saying this ought to be the position of the law. So if you have not been able to convince the judges, you must have been able to convince the audience. Don't forget that these judges, they are humans. They are definitely humans. But do your own. As a masses, do your own. Convince them. Bring in your evidence. But as you are bringing in your evidence, don't be carried away with that postulation. Don't be carried away with that thought that because these people are this, they will not listen to it. That is one mistake many people make as regard judges. There are some persons that will go to court today and they'll be like, these judges, we know that they'll be partial. Who told you? How did you know? Because this information will even make those people not to present their case very well because they already have that thought that the judges will be partial. So bring your case very well. Argue your points. Make sure that you've done justice to whatever thing that is demanded from you. So you leave the judgment. You leave the judgment for the judges. that even if they are bringing out their judgment, you will not see there's something called the ratio decidendi, the reason for their decision. They will definitely give the reason for their decision. So I'm answering your question based on like political level or whatever level, like this is my political stand, this is my philosophical stand, and you are talking to some persons, judges, and they also have their stand. But if it is on, let me say, competitions or whatever, have your stand. Even if it's on other ground, still have your stand. Respectively, give your opinion and make sure that you've done justice to it. Because if you've done justice to it, even if they give a different judgment, people are convinced that you have done your part. Do you understand, women? God's time, I believe I've answered your question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Choma, once again. Can anyone hear me?
All right, thank you, God's time. Yes, I also did political science. Hence the reason why I'm able to follow up what you said. I did political science and I understand what you're saying. Thank you very much, God's time.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, so we don't run past our time. I think we're far spent, but I want to believe that you will all enjoy this session. Thank you so much, Ms. Choma. Once again, we're truly grateful that you gave us your time and you took your time to make this session as engaging as it was. People are giving you 100% in the chat. I'm sure that should make you feel some type of way. And if you can share your LinkedIn, please go ahead and do so as well. So participants, I would like to let you go now so that we don't spend too much time. But I just wanted to remind you all that there's a town hall meeting happening on Friday, right? At that town hall meeting, all we're going to be talking about is next steps. How are we submitting our debate videos? How are we submitting our proposals? How are we going into the next part of the program, right? Please, as much as possible, do not miss this town hall. If you know anyone who hasn't even been following the live review sessions, please, they should not miss the town hall either. As far as they want to continue on this program, town hall is going to be very important to help, clear your path on what are the next steps. Of course, it's going to be live on YouTube as well. So you can always go back and rewatch. I mean, we're not going to be saying too many new things per se from what is in your handbook, right? But I also think we'll be sharing a revised timeline just to help everyone. We realize some people have been writing exams. Some people have had very tight school schedules and they haven't been following as much as they wanted to. So we have also tried to revise the timelines per that consideration. So all of this will be discussed at the town hall. The town hall will probably last for an hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours, maximum, because we want to take our time and answer all your questions. So the link to joining the town hall is already in your emails. We'll be sending a reminder prior to that time. Please make sure you're available. It's Friday, 3 p.m. Just as we always have our meetings at 3 p.m. So thank you, everyone. Thank you once again, Ms. Choma. Someone was asking for your LinkedIn. If you can share now. You can share with me alongside the presentation, and we'll be we'll share it with the change makers. Thank you so much, change makers. I hope this session made a change in your lives, and we hope to see you use some of the tidbits you've learned here in your debate segment. So, and also in your change project segment. So thank you so much, everyone. Lots of love. Have a wonderful day, and I believe tomorrow is a public holiday, so have a wonderful holiday as well. We're rooting for you from this angle. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you.
Meanwhile, I have shared